everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. Now, not too long ago, I said that I was starting a watercolor journal. So just a tiny little book for tiny little watercolors to play with. We did this one together and it's time to do another little something. So I have washi taped off the page, and this is just washi tape that I get from the dollar store, so I'm not wasting good washi tape on just marking off a border, but it doesn't stick, so it works really well. So I have it, and I have, oh my goodness, a palette that I can't open. So then I have a palette of watercolors, nothing major, nothing expensive, and I'm just going to spritz them to get them a little bit wet. Okay, I have water and I have a watercolor brush, and I'm gonna pull you in over top and we're gonna give a little bit of a try. We're just gonna play with some of the colors so that I get to know the colors a little better. And we're gonna do kind of a combination dry, wet. So the wet on dry, my paints are wet, but the paper will be dry. And then the wet paint going into wet paper. So we're kind of doing a combo to be able to see the difference in the looks. All learning. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is I actually want to add some water down in the bottom of my page. And I want to get it, my lighting is such here that I can't see that if I have a bunch of water there. Okay, so my water's down there. What I want to do is pick up, let's maybe start with some little fall kind of colors. We're going to kind of drop on a little bit of color here until I hit the water. So you can see it stays more in place there than when I hit the water. But again, I don't have tons of water there. My paper keeps absorbing it all. I have an air bubble. There. Fingers work great. So what I want to do is be able to get a bit of the change from, you know, a little bit of kind of the color up here. And then, yes, when it starts to bloom below. All right, let's go daring with a purple. So for this, you want to have enough color on your brush that it can bleed. And I'm just going to tilt my page a little bit so that I get some of that bleeding happening, that I get some of that flow. And let me maybe go into a bit of a light red. Maybe the yellow again. That's going to bleed down into my red. I'm going to just blotting a little bit down below there. Okay, I'm going to try adding a little dash of brown just because we're kind of doing a little bit fallish colors here. That's not very dark. That's a lot of paint. And let's maybe finish with an orange. I'm thinking I need a bit of work with this. Let me just give it a bit of sky. All right, our little picture has dried, so I'm going to remove the tape. But I have to say, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Or perhaps it's more apt to say, I didn't make it do what I wanted it to do. And that's part of the learning process. So I figure I'm going to take a little black pen and I'm going to doodle on it now because it's not what I was expecting. So I'm just going to add some of my trees in here. And I'll turn it into a bit of a mixed media and experiment with it that way a little bit. So I'm just adding my little trees in. But I'm going to turn them into a little bit more stylized kind of. Give them little leafy roots. Okay, so that didn't quite work out the way that I wanted to. I see people doing it just flows nicely into the water. And I think that there's a balance between it being too wet and too dry, and kind of the perfect time for your paper to have it spread. And I don't think I have that yet. I think that ultimately my paper was too wet, too much water, and so it didn't just kind of bloom nicely, it just flowed. So I had, in essence, too much watercolor on there. But here's the thing, you don't know unless you try it. And that's the purpose of doing like a little watercolor journal. Now, what I did do was I doodled in it instead, because I can, because it's my book. And it just turned something that was in my mind wrong or ugly, or because I'm labeling it, right? I'm labeling it not right. It wasn't what I wanted. So instead, doodle on it, turn it into something else, learn from it, And then don't be embarrassed about flipping the pages to it. You know, we've got this little page to go, but this is the beauty of the book, is hopefully by the time we hit these blank pages at the end, we see an improvement from these pages at the beginning. That's the hope. That's the goal. That's the expectation. It may not be true. Maybe it's comparing this book to the 5th book. I see the progress. I don't know how my progress is going to be within these pages versus 5 books worth of pages. But that's the gift of grace that we have to give ourselves, is the opportunity to play, to experiment, and to learn. We can't know what we don't know until we try something and we discover it. Hope you're hanging in there. Hope this is helping you in your journey. Hope that maybe you're going to try to do some of these along with me. I don't know. It's worth the playtime. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you checking out whatever I'm up to on the channel. There's really no purpose to the channel without you. So thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you again. And until then, take care.